In the last 30 days alone, over 300,000 people have searched online about tensions or comparisons between Sadhguru and Sri Ravi Shankar. Videos discussing this subtle spiritual rift have gone viral on YouTube, with some crossing 100k views in less than a week. But amidst the speculations, one particular interview by Gurudev Sri, largely overlooked by mainstream media, contains comments that have quietly sparked controversy. These aren't loud attacks or dramatic accusations, but nuanced statements that many believe were subtly aimed at Sadhguru. Stay till the end to find out Gurudev's hidden interview comments about Sadhguru. What was said, what was meant, and what this really reveals about India's two most influential living spiritual leaders. India's spiritual ecosystem is evolving. In an age where gurus are not just traditional teachers but also global influencers, what they say, or don't say, about one another often gets magnified. Sadhguru and Sri Ravi Shankar represent two of the largest spiritual organizations in the world, Isha Foundation and Art of Living, respectively. Together, they've touched millions, shaped policy, spoken at the UN, and are revered globally. But their approach, philosophies, and expressions of spirituality differ vastly, and this has led to curiosity, speculation, and sometimes subtle friction among their followers. The specific interview that drew attention was an informal conversation with Sri Ravi Shankar posted on a mid-tier spiritual podcast channel. The host asked a broad question: "What do you think about the rise of new gurus and their connection to ancient wisdom?" Sri smiled and responded, "Today, anyone with a good marketing team can build a temple and declare a deity. That does not make one enlightened." He didn't name names, but to those familiar with the Adiyogi consecration and Isha's rapid growth, the undertones were hard to ignore. The internet, of course, wasted no time in reacting. Clips from the interview were reposted on Twitter and YouTube Shorts with headlines like Sri takes a dig at Sadhguru and Gurus at war. But is it fair to interpret it this way? Context is key. Sri has long emphasized humility, silence, and community service, while Sadhguru often highlights energy spaces, technology for well-being, and strong individual transformation. While both speak of inner peace, their styles contrast dramatically, one poetic and devotional, the other scientific and unapologetically mystical. Interestingly, this isn't the first time Sri has made vague references that some connect to Sadhguru's work. In a satsang years ago, when asked about consecrated spaces, he replied, "Real energy doesn't need hype. If a space is truly sacred, people will feel it without the lights and shows." Many link this to Isha's laser shows and high-production Mahashivratri celebrations. Again, no names were mentioned, but the implications were enough to ignite debates among spiritual circles. To his credit, Sadhguru has never publicly addressed or responded to these comments. In fact, in several interviews, when asked about other spiritual leaders, he simply smiles and says, "Let's not get into personalities. What matters is the seeking." This silence, however, is often interpreted in two ways, either as graceful detachment or quiet disapproval. But one thing is clear: he rarely fuels such debates, even when provoked indirectly. It's ironic that while both Sri and Sadhguru promote peace, it's often their followers who escalate these subtle differences into full-blown rivalry. YouTube comments, Reddit threads, and Facebook groups are filled with comparisons, ranging from their knowledge of scriptures to their organization's transparency. But perhaps this says more about our tendency to idolize personalities than truly follow the teachings. Both gurus teach surrender, meditation, and love. But in our ego's desire to pick sides, we forget the essence. Spiritual history is filled with philosophical disagreements among masters. Adi Shankaracharya versus Buddhist scholars, Ramanuj versus Shankara disciples, Osho versus the establishment. But these debates were not driven by hate. They were opportunities to refine the path. Perhaps what's happening now between modern gurus is just a 21st century version of this. The stage has changed from ashrams and debates to Instagram clips and viral shots. But the essence remains the same: the exploration of truth through difference. Let's return to Sri Sri's original comment. Today, anyone with marketing can build a temple and declare a deity. Is it possible he wasn't targeting Sadhguru specifically, but addressing a broader concern about spiritual commercialism? In a world where anyone can wear robes and buy followers, his words could be a reminder to remain rooted. And perhaps, instead of fueling comparison, we are being asked to deepen our discernment, not to judge, but to seek more sincerely. In a world filled with noise, conflict, and endless content, perhaps the real question isn't whether Sri Sri and Sadhguru agree on everything, but whether you and I are truly walking the spiritual path. Beyond the quotes, interviews, and rumors lies your breath, your stillness, your inner longing. So before clicking away, take a moment, close your eyes, and ask, am I seeking truth, or am I just choosing sides? If this video gave you clarity, consider subscribing for deeper content. Because the real guru is the one who turns your gaze inward.